This is episode 2 of a 3-part series I'm really excited about, and that is talking about weight loss and health for high-achieving entrepreneurs and kind of our unique personality traits that can sometimes be our own worst enemy, believe it or not, because the rules to success in business are great. I mean, they're pretty golden, but sometimes those don't work really well in health and diet and weight loss and that sort of thing. So if you've put on a few pounds like I have, and I used to be really heavy, you've learned and you want to do what works, you'll know that dieting and trying to lose 30 pounds in 30 days, while it sounds impressive, just like, if you were to bring on, $40,000 in new business this month, well, that's a noble goal. And I think a lot of people would be like, wow, good job. But I've got my good friend, Daniel Thomas, who is my coach, who I've worked with for the past 2 months. And I've lost more than 10 pounds and I've lost more than 2 inches. Like, dude, I am in great health. My energy is fantastic. And as a result, that has absolutely positively impacted my business in a big way. And that in that conversation, we're going to talk about some of those rules of health and how energy and that health impacts all those other areas in our life. So Daniel, thank you again so much for joining us.
Yeah, Josh, thank you for having me. And, at the end of our first conversation, I said this line, which I wrote down afterwards, and it's what I said, which I want to dive into because I think it sets the context for why this work is so important. And it's that making your health the number one priority in your life is the most powerful yet most often avoided secret to creating epic results in your business. And if it's cool with you, I just like to talk about how this all connects, and I would like to frame it with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Do you know?
I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan. Yes.
You're a fan. So for anybody who doesn't know, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a theory that in order to self-actualize and perform at our very best, we need to fulfill certain innate human needs in priority from bottom up. And so if you look at the pyramid, at the bottom is your physiological needs, right? Your health. Then it's your safety, and then love and belonging, and then esteem, and then self-actualization at the very top. So again, I'll reiterate, if you look at the bottom, you'll see that your health and not money is the bedrock of a meaningful and productive life, right? It's not to say that money isn't important. It's just not the bedrock, which means no matter how successful you are in other areas of your life and your business, there's no such thing as success without your health intact, right? Just like there's no such thing as a house without a foundation. Eventually, it will crumble. And this is what I call the entrepreneur's dilemma, which stems from this hustle mentality that was ingrained in us at the very beginning, right? Almost every highly successful entrepreneur and self-starter I know goes to unbelievable lengths to bend reality in their favor, right? In order to create success, in order to accomplish their goals, serve their clients, deliver their product, etc. Often sacrificing baseline human needs like their health and wellness in order to get ahead in business. I've been there, and Josh, it sounds like you've been there as well, right? And this is the sort of hustle that, folks like Gary Vee has popularized, and which we as a culture have glorified, right? And the confusing thing is that it works, right? It got you here, right? You have a successful business. You're an absolute rock star. Nobody's telling you otherwise, especially me. I just hold you and anybody who I work with or talk to the standard that you hold yourself, right? I know that you know that life can be better and that you want more from life and that you want to have an even greater impact in the world. I mean, that's effectively what an entrepreneur is, right? That's what we all want. We want to have a greater impact in the world. Like our mission is to create and grow something that the world either hasn't seen before, or to use it to make this place better for all of us, right? And that's delivered through your services, through your programs, through your products, through your ideas. So if that's all true, then why are you playing at a fraction of the level that you could be by living through this excuse that you don't have time for your health, which is, again, the bedrock, the foundation of success, the foundation of access to yourself, right? So why not start investing in your health and treating yourself like you are your business's most valuable asset, because you are.
And just to eliminate the excuse of I don't have time, I mean, I can tell you specifically that in terms of sheer time, it takes me an extra few moments to consider what I'm going to eat. And what I have found, Daniel, is that success, and again, we're going to talk about this a lot more in conversation number 3. I have found that success with weight loss is just all about those seemingly unimportant micro decisions. And it stacks up over and over and over again. Do I get for example, do I get the glass of wine at the movie theater, or do I get, a cup of ice water? All right. Mm-hmm. It's not that a glass of wine is a bad thing at all. And in, where it's, where we're conscious about, listen, if this is my goal, so how do the numbers work out? And I know that, if I consume too much sugar and or alcohol, there's just, look, I wish, we could have as much of that as we want. But the reality is it's going to have a physical impact. So we have to be conscious about what are our rules for living, and are we going to make those little micro commitments and stick to those micro commitments on a consistent basis. And that's it. Like, I think most of us know the general rules of healthy living today. It's, obviously you don't want to way over consume on calories, then you're burning, because that's going to be a problem. And another thing, I think more importantly, is what those calories are. And that is, listen, I mean, if you are consuming, I think we're all in agreement at this point in 2020, sugar and starchy carbs are just, they're just going to be really hard to offset if you're consuming that on a regular basis or even an irregular basis. Your body has to work really, really hard to overcome that. And so we all kind of know what the rules are. We also know that it's, or at least many of us, kind of understand the power of, eating more within a window, or as opposed to just, mindless snacking into the late night and that sort of thing. These are the things that I think we've all heard, and it would be great if we were fairly consistent on that. But again, it's adopting that mindset that if you're an achiever and professionally, can you be an achiever with this? And honestly, like, again, aside from a little bit of more mindfulness, obviously, we'll talk about this in conversation number 3. We'll talk about exercise a little bit. But other than that, it's like maybe, from time to time, there's extra preparation that goes into food because I'm after healthier whole foods, because that's going to support my body and give my body what it needs. So Daniel, sorry, that was, I kind of monologued there. Let me hand you the baton here.
No, well, this is exact. I mean, it's all good because this is a dialogue. This conversation is where the magic is. So, what I'm hearing about what you're saying is developing the daily practice of prioritizing this part of your life, right? And that's where I started, which is like making this a priority, as opposed to making everything else a priority, right? It's clear, if you're an entrepreneur and you're listening to this, it's clear that your business is your priority, right? I'm not saying it should not be, but if health is nowhere even close, then let's look at that. And just for the sake of clarity, my access point to health is diet, right? Not going on a diet, but the diet, like your diet, how you choose to eat. And I really view diet as an expression of your personality, right? The diet that I eat is it's a representation of who I am. It doesn't just show up physically in that, I have low body fat and low in inflammation and blah, 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 blah. But it's literally an expression of my personality, in the same way that if you ask me my taste in music or art or movie or whatever would be an expression of my personality. And I think that a lot of people who are just focused on the weight loss aspect, we lose touch with that. We lose touch with the fact that this is a core expression of my identity. And this identity piece is critical to you being successful and healthy in the long run. So I said in video 1, and I'll repeat it here, that your health is a lifelong skill that you must develop. It is not a goal that you accomplish and then forget about, right? When we go on a diet with the intention to lose weight, 30 pounds within 30 days. Look, we have a goal, lose weight. By when? 30 days. There's nothing wrong with having that goal, but I'm looking at what happens after that. What happens in 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 6 years from now, right? If we keep treating our health as a goal that we just accomplish, and then once we accomplish it, we forget about it, we're never gonna maintain what we're actually after. And so this identity piece of being a healthy person who does healthy things for him or herself on a daily basis, on a meal to meal basis, which is how I coach you, right? Josh, that's why I have you take photos of what you're eating and send them forth. It's to be mindful. It's to make the commitment. It's to do it to Mr. Miyagi's wax on, wax off. Right. Keep practicing the good habit. It's building a foundation. Just like if you were learning how to ride a bike or play a piano, right? This is about developing the skill of choosing the healthy option time and time again. You're right. In an isolated circumstance, having that glass of wine at the movie theater and the popcorn is fine. It's like completely healthy, right? If we're just looking at it in an isolated moment in time.
Right.
Maybe for you, depending on where you're at, you're not ready for that yet, right? Like you're just starting out, or wine is very triggering for you, right? Or whatever. So we have to know where you are along the process of skill development. And when you develop a skill, in order to get better at that skill, you've got to practice every day. If you're only practicing once a week, right, it's not going to work, right? If you were learning how to play the piano,
right,
serious, then you would have to show up to practice with your instructor. And every day you're going to move your fingers up and down the keys. You're going to take instruction. You're going to learn how to read the music, and you're going to develop a new language internally in order to relate to the piano. And then you're going to go home, you're going to practice, you're going to put in the work, you're going to come back tomorrow, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to make a lot of mistakes, and you're going to invest in correcting those mistakes instead of hiding from them or pretending like they don't exist. And that's exactly how we approach our health and our diet and our process here at Evolution Eat. It's like learning how to play the piano or riding the bike or whatever. Unfortunately, we've been marketed to believe that our health is a time-sensitive race, that if we don't complete then in time, then all is lost. And that marketing is done very well, but it's also very disingenuous. And so my stand for my stand for you, and the big banner that the flag that I'm putting in the air is, let's approach our health like a skill that you develop and that you practice. And in time, that piano player will be performing solos, but only after she's mastered the basic principles and feels comfortable making mistakes and looking at those mistakes for feedback to practice and improve. And over time, when you apply this to your diet, your relationship with yourself will transform, because really the way that you eat, again, this identity piece, the way that you eat is a window into yourself. And if you're eating like shit all the time, then there's something to look at there about the way that you're treating yourself and what you believe to be true about yourself. And so if you're willing to confront yourself, then working on this part of your life is can be the most just the most the most transformative. It's just the most transformative process that you've ever gone through. I mean, I've worked with clients who, through transforming their health, they ended up, leaving that job, traveling the world, opening that business, leaving that relationship, finding true love, you name it, across the board, up and down Maslow's hierarchy. And it's because they finally allowed themselves to give to themselves and could feel what the consistency and the momentum of doing that on a daily basis was. And then who they were as a result, talking about identity. They're a healthy person who does healthy things for themselves. And all of a sudden, unhealthy things, and I'm not just talking about the croissant, unhealthy things in all other areas of their life you start becoming way more sensitive to them, and you realize, I don't have any time for or patience for this sort of thing. It's not in integrity with who I am. So anyways, there's me getting on and off my my pedestal. But yeah, thanks for letting me riff on that one.
So Daniel, the way that we were able to work together since the beginning of November was just a dream in terms of how easy it was for me, because I didn't even have to worry about logging things in some kind of an app. I just took a picture. And I just texted that picture into you. And I got to tell you that I have never experienced a program that psychologically has worked better for me than doing that. I even looked at some AI solutions, and I just, I thought about it, and I'm like, I know me, right? And so one thing that I'm not going to want to do is, if I have a coaching relationship with somebody, I want to commit to something with that coach. And then I don't want to disappoint that other person. I mean, that's kind of my personality. And so one thing that you've set up is a link, and that's Evolution Eat, singular, evolutioneat.com/Josh. Now, normally when you go to evolutioneat.com, and you kind of go through the inquiry process about what it would be like to work with you, you're going to go through a couple of gatekeepers. If somebody uses that link, they can go right to the head of the line, and they can actually book a free coaching call with you to kind of plan out what 2020 is going to look like. Now, we should say that you don't do this for free. I mean, this is a business for you, and you have team, and you've created a lot of amazing results. I'm wondering if you could do two things. Number one, just real briefly, and we only have a few minutes left, but talk about what it looks like generally working with you, and then what are some of the results that you have, and for your clients, your coaching clients, has that success gone beyond, let's say, the coaching window? Because I could see how, man, I'm setting patterns now and a level of consciousness that it's really I could see where this is really sticking with me.
Well, I'm so happy to hear that just for you, Josh. I mean, that's awesome. And I'm really excited to dive into what you see is possible for yourself next year. But yes. So to clarify what you just said, if you go to evolutioneat.com/Josh, you will be able to set up a free coaching call with me as opposed to somebody from my team. And, the expectation is that you show up and that I'm here to help. At a minimum, what we'll do is set up what a healthy 2020 would look for you, and where to start. And I'll also, of course, open up about our coaching programs. We have, there are really two ways that you can work with us. It's either through a group program that we have, or individually one-on-one. And and I'm happy to share all about that on the call, but it's very high touch. It's very intimate. It's very vulnerable. It's very confronting, which is vulnerable, I should say. And, Josh, what I appreciate about you is just how much you've shared of yourself throughout this process. And, like a few weeks ago, we got on a call real quickly, even though it wasn't even set up, because you were feeling super stressed out about some business stuff. And guess what? That's going to show up in the way that you treat yourself, right? So just knowing that you have that access, you have that outlet, you dialed it in. We got clear on what you needed to do. You ate well accordingly. You got it off your chest. We worked through it. And, it's that vulnerability piece that if you feel like you can express yourself to somebody when you're not at your best, then the chances of you doing it when you're at your best are like obvious. But it's when you're not at your best is when you need the most help. And when it comes to food and eating, those moments that we're not feeling our best are also the moments that are most triggering, and that we usually use food to cope, right? So if we want to avoid having to deal with something or feel super stressed out, well, let me just go order a bunch of crap from McDonald's, or from, pick up some pastries or whatever from the local place, and then eat it and then feel even worse about myself afterwards, right? So it's during those moments when you really need help that having a coach is so just transformational. It's a different experience that you can course correct in real time. You can be yourself. You don't have to be perfect. There's no expectation of you being perfect from this side, again, because this is a practice, and practice implies imperfection. So my expectation is that you're going to show up every day to do the work and be committed to connection and communication, but not that you're going to be perfect in your choices. That would be impossible. And it would prohibit you from learning, right? Because there's so much that you can learn from getting it wrong every so often and making mistakes, right? And a lot of what we're talking about is strategizing and working it out about, given the challenges of your week. Maybe you're traveling this week. Maybe you have a dinner event. Maybe you have a mastermind that you're conducting. It's like, well, let's get prepared for that. I always talk about the 4 Ps: planning, preparing, prioritizing, and packing, right? And if we take care of those as it comes to our diet and eating, we're more often than not going to be in good shape. So, some of the accomplishments that our clients have achieved is just wild. I mean, Terry, who is a CEO of a big real estate investment firm down in Memphis, he's lost 35 pounds over our years working together, has doubled his business, already a 7-figure business. He has also created way more boundaries in his life. So he works less. He has more time for his family. He stopped binging as a result. He started meditating. He started exercising, things that he had never done before. A woman named Liz lost 90 pounds in 15 months, is kickboxing now, found the man of her dreams, got married. A woman named Danielle optimized her habits, really dialed in her eating and her daily, her lifestyle habits. And we worked really hard to finesse a lifestyle that worked really well for her. She ended up making $3 million in her business that year, which was a 30x increase from the year before. Wow. I mean, and some people just were better people, right? Like you don't have to have created $1 million results in order to have gotten a $1 million experience for you inside, right? So the results are different just based on who you are and what is begging to come out. But the promise, if you will, is that if you commit to this, your personality will be unleashed. Your personality will be like, you will be stepping into and living into possibility on a daily basis that it's truly what you want to do with that. That is incredible. But yeah, I've worked with a lot of coaches or wannabe coaches who then, through working on their health, ended up opening their businesses or opening up storefronts. I mean, the list goes on. It's just, I feel like I've got the best job in the world.
So if you go to evolutioneat.com/Josh, you'll actually get a version of your front page that instead of just signing up for a free coaching call, it says free coaching call with Daniel.
Yeah.
And so again, that's evolutioneat.com/Josh. And Daniel, thank you so much for offering that. Again, to talk about, what are your goals for 2020? How can you achieve that? What can you do? And then obviously, take a look at, would it make sense for you and Daniel to work together? I could just tell you, Daniel, that again, this has been the absolute best weight loss experience I've ever had in my entire life. Like I've white knuckled it on my own. I've just muscled through it. And it's been a lot of pain and, where I'm trying to just, eat under 1,200 calories or whatever my deal is. And then of course it always rebounds because I was doing it on my own. I didn't really learn a whole lot through the experience. Whereas now, wouldn't it be awesome to just live with that level of consciousness? And again, let's talk about that in conversation in interview number three. Thank you so much, Daniel, for doing this. And again, we're going to come back. This is second of 3-part. Again, this is weight loss for high achieving professionals and entrepreneurs. And Daniel Thomas, again, from Evolution Eat. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Josh. Appreciate you.